Welcome to Live Daf, your online Daf Yomi Shir.
Shalom Aleichem. Welcome back to today's Daf Yomi, which is CHAGGIGA Daf Yud. We begin at the Mishnah, which is 7 lines from the top. Heter Nedarim Perchen Ba'avir. We know there's a concept called Hadaras Nedarim. We all do it on Erev Rosh Hashanah. Although one commits himself, expresses a vow, a commitment, a neder, or a shvua, different types of vows and commitments, he can go ahead and undo those using the method of Hadaras Nedarim, going to a chacham or to a bezdin, expressing remorse, charata, regret, and that undoes the neder. The concept of Hadaras Nedarim is not really clearly articulated in the psukim in the Torah. They are perchen ba'aver, like a bird flying in the sky, not really anchored, and not really so clearly sourced in Torah Shebechsav. Rather, it's basically been handed over through the Torah Sheba'al Peh, through the Chachamim. Rashi actually uses the lashon ma'at remez yesh b'mikra. There's just a slight hint in the psukim, but primarily the halachos were handed down and taught through Torah Sheba'al Peh. Ve'ein lahem al mashi yismeichu. They don't really have much psukim, much actually written in the Torah Shebechsav, which forms a basis and support for this concept. It's primarily, for the most part, Torah Sheba'al Peh. Let's move on to Hilchos Shabbos. The halachos of CHAGGIGA is the subject of our Masechta. V'me'ilos, diverting hegdish funds for personal use. All these concepts and the halachos contained therein are harehem kehararim. There are so many, multitude of halachos, hatluin b'sa'ara. It's like many mountains hanging on just one hair. Maharsha says, one extreme to the other. Many mountains, huge mountains, hanging barely on one hair. So all these topics, Shabbos, Chagigas, have many halachis, but just a few psukim. They are expressed very briefly in the psukim. Shehein mikra mu'at, they are based on very few psukim, v'halachis merubos, and contain many halachis. So they're just slightly sourced in the psukim, but as far as the details, of course, they were expounded upon by the Chachamim by means of Torah Sheba'al Peh. As opposed to Hadinin, all different types of halachas concerning monetary manners, va'avodes, the halachas of karbonis, hataharis, va'atmeis, va'arayis, all these things, dinim, karbonis, the halachas of taharis and tumais, and arayis. Yesh lana mashi yismeichu. There's a lot there to support them on. There's a lot of parashas and psukim discussing these halachas. Indeed, these are the primary topics found in the Torah. Let's go over to Rashi, around 6-7 lines below where we're holding. Masnissen. Heter nedarim perchen ba'avir. Hataras nedarim she'amr chachamim. Shachach amatir saneder. How do we know that? We have a slight hint in the psukim, but for the most part, it's Torah Sheba'al Peh. Mat remez yesh b'mikra. V'veina ma lismech ela shekein mosr l'chachamim b'Torah Sheba'al Peh. It's been handed down by tradition. Halachas Shabbos, halachas CHAGGIGA, halachas me'ilos. Yesh ben halachas she'en tluis b'remez. Mikra mu'at. Over there we have a little bit more in the psukim, but compared to the amount of halachas, it's like keharar and hatluim b'sa'aris rosh. That's the second category. Then we proceed to the avodes, which are hilchos avodes karban, va'arayis erva. They are very clearly expressed in the psuki HaTorah, and indeed hein gufei Torah. The Gemara will ask on this. The Gemara parach, only these are gufei Torah, the last category. What about the other ones? Atu hanach, the previous topics discussed in the Mishnah are not lav gufei Torah. The Gemara will address the last phrase in the Mishnah. So the Mishnah spoke about heter nedarim being perchen ba'aver, with not much to base it on. Tanya, Rabbi Yehuda Kessler, he disagrees. Yesh lahem mamash yismeichu. Actually, we have what to base it on. Take a look at the pasuk. Shenamar ki yafli shtei pamim. So the pasuk speaks about two types of commitments. Erechen, where one commits to give his own value to the Beis Hamikdash. We have the lashon ki yafli. At that point, if a person will articulate his willingness to commit, Kiyafli once again by Nazir. Why does the pasuk have to use that lashon twice? So the drasha is like this: Achas hafla al isur V'achas haflo leheter. The pasuk here is telling us that there are two types of expressions. Initially, haflo le'isur, you commit, you obligate. But then if you change your mind, you regret, you have some sort of pesach, Rashi says, some sort of opening to absolve yourself of your commitment. You can do that. Go back to the Chacham and articulate that. Hafla leheter. Express yourself, verbalize yourself leheter, and that verbalization sort of undoes the previous verbalization. So we see HaTorah Nedarim in the Torah. Rabbi Yehuda, here too he says, Yesh lama mashi yismechu. I also have a makar in the Torah. HaTorah Nedarim. Shnamar asher nishbati ba'api. Hashem says, I promised in my moment of wrath and anger that the Der HaMidbar will suffer punishment, won't come into Eretz Yisrael, and they'll miss out on Olam Haba. Why does the Torah have to say Nishbati Ba'api? It's a pasuk in Tehillim. Ba'api Nishbati. You meant to know that I swore in a moment of anger. B'chazarti bi, and that's why I was able to be chayzer and revert and go back on it because of HaTorah Nedarim. I attribute it to anger, and now I can come back and say, look, I didn't really mean it. Let me go back on it. So we see that charata, regret, works. There's asks Akash. He says, where do we find that Hashem changed his mind? They were still stuck in the middle. They couldn't come into Eretz Yisrael. So he says, perhaps it's going on the concept of Olam Haba. Initially, Hashem deprived them of Olam Haba. Hashem was chayzer by and restored it. Rabbi Yitzchak Omer Yesh lama mashi yismechu. I'll show you where HaTorah Nedarim is hinted in the Torah. Shnema kol nediv liboy, by the Nedavas HaMishkan. All kind-hearted people donated. As long as you're still kind-hearted, as long as you still feel that desire to give. Kol nediv liboy. But if that desire wanes, it disappears, you can go back on your commitment. HaTorah Nedarim. Chananya ben Achi Rabbi Yehoshua Omer Yesh lama mashi yismechu. I'll give you a source. Shnema nishbate v'kayema. So I swear, I commit myself to be Mekayim Hashem's mitzvahs. Nishbati, I swear, ve'akayema, and at times I fulfill that commitment, but at times not. If I was chayzer, if I did HaTorah Nedarim. If I was present during that discussion where they were looking for a source in the Torah for HaTorah Nedarim, I would have presented my source. Amri Lahu. I would have told him, Didi, my own source, Adifa miditchu, has advantage over yours. Shenemar lo yachal devari. Pasuk says, one who expresses a commitment, a neder, a shvua, may not negate his words. He can't negate. Hu einay meichel or meichel. Aval acher meichel, but others can. A chacham comes along, can undo what he did. HaTorah Nedarim works. Amar Rava. You should know that kulu islu pircha. All those other presentations, all those other possible sources can be challenged in one way or the other. Levar me de Shmuel, except for Shmuel's source, which is absolute. To the less lepircha, you can't challenge it. Why? Let's go down one by one. Even the Rabbi Lezer's makar from Kiyafli, perhaps it's coming to tell you another halacha unrelated to HaTorah Nedarim. Dilma Rabbi Yehuda, who said She'amar Mishum Rabbi Tarfon, the Sanya. Rabbi Yehuda Omer Mishum Rabbi Tarfon. We learn a new halacha from this pasuk. When you commit to becoming a Nazir, it has to be clearly articulated in an absolute fashion. None of them become a Nazir. Naziris can only be accepted through perfect, clear articulation. What is this speaking about? Which halacha are we referring to? Let's go down to Rashi at the first wide line. Dilma Tarfanos. We're speaking where there were two people sitting around the table. And they encounter another fellow coming towards them. And they sort of made a bet. Reuben tells Shimon, Harini Nazir, I'm going to become a Nazir if this fellow coming towards us is a Nazir. And Shimon says, what are you talking about? He's not a Nazir. I'm going to be a Nazir if he is not a Nazir. Just to prove his point. Harini Nazir, She'eni Nazir. It turns out that one of them was right, of course. Either he is or he isn't. Not Reuben nor Shimon will become a Nazir. Because when he expressed that commitment, it wasn't an absolute commitment, it was sort of a bet, an unknown. It can't be an uncertain, pending commitment. Naziris needs kiyafli. a proper expression, an absolute commitment. So that's what the pasuk is coming for. Nothing to do with Hataras Nitarim. So that's off. Continues the Gemara. Let's go down the list. Imid Rabbi Yeshua. Rabbi Yeshua came from Asher Nishbati Ba'api. Well, Dil Mehachi Ka'amar, perhaps the Torah meant like this. Ba'api Nishbati V'lo Yadar Nabi. Hashem says, look, I swore to apply Gzera and Einish to the Dera Midbar. I will not revert because it was done in Api in all seriousness. So I'm not going back on it. Even Rabbi Yitzchak. What about Rabbi Yitzchak who came from the pasuk of Nishbata v'Kayema? Sorry, Kol Nediv Liboy, which indicated that it's dependent upon the feelings in his heart, something that could be undone. No, Dilma Lafukim Dishmo. Maybe Nediv Liboy is simply coming to undo Shmuel's halach. The Omar Shmuel tells us, Gomer Beliba, even if a person commits to something in his heart, it's not a commitment unless he articulates it verbally. Tzorech Sheyoti B'Sfasav. So that's typically, when it comes to committing to a hegdish, that carries greater value, has greater weight. Well, Kamashwan, the pasuk is telling us, when you donate to the Mishkan, even if it wasn't expressed, if he didn't express it, he didn't articulate it, that is a commitment. Again, nothing to do with Hataras Nitarim. What about the final thing? Imeder Chananya ben Achira Bishua, who came from the pasuk of Nishbata v'Kayema. Maybe it's coming to tell us something else. Dilma Rav Gidl Marav, Rav Gidl Marav, Minayin Shenishboin Lekaimus HaMitzvah. How do we know that one is meant to spur himself forward when it comes to mitzvahs? I swear I'm going to do that mitzvah. And he has to be Makayim that shvur. Shenamar Nishbata v'Kayema. David Melech would do that also. Even though Hashem gave him mitzvahs, but you push yourself forward, you commit, you swear, you Nishbata v'Kayema lishma mishpatei tzidkecha. It's interesting, chiddush, because typically ishvu or neder can't be applied to something which is already previous, something which has been committed to previously, like a mitzvah. So we're not speaking about a full-fledged neder or shvua, which carries all the liabilities of a neder or shvua, carbon, etc. We're speaking about a personal commitment, for which if a person is over, he gets malchus. It's a new concept, a sort of a partial shvua. Yeah, it works, as David HaMelech writes in Tehillim. So again, unrelated to Heter Nedarim. The only one that can't be challenged is Shmuel's source. Elo de Shmuel Lesle Pircha. He was coming from the pasuk Lo Yachal Devari. The one who expressed the neder can't negate his words, but others can, such as a Chacham or a Bezdin. Amar Rava, Vitema, some say it was Rav Nachman Bar Yitzchak. Hainadam Inchi. This fits with the common phrase. People say quality surpasses quantity. It's better to have one pilpalta charifta, a sharp pepper seed, even just one. It's better than mimalid sanno de curry, than a basket filled with curry with gourds. Good sharp pepper. It's quality that matters. So although Shmuel was the youngest amongst all these Amoraim, but his raya sustained all challenges. Hilchos Shabbos. The Mishnah speaks about the various halachas of Shabbos and CHAGGIGAs and Me'ilos that are so numerous, they are like the mountains hanging on just one hair. Michtav Chsivan. Take a look at the Torah. If so many psukim discussing halachas of Shabbos, what do you mean there's just a little sourcing for all those halachas? It's Tzrichos, as the Gemara. Apparently, the Mishnah is speaking about specific halachas which are not clearly written in the Torah. For instance, look at the Rav Abba. Don't Rav Abba. HaChefer Guma b'Shabbos. If one digs a pit on Shabbos, typically you may not do that if it's done in an inhabited area, like in a home. It's considered baina, a form of building. But this fellow doesn't need a pit. He needs the dirt. He needs the content of that pit. He's excavating. Ve'ein tzarech alal afra. He only needs the afar pater. Aleh, there's no malacha. He's pater. So this is not clearly written in any psukim. Rather, it was handed down through the Torah Sheba'al Peh, and that's why the Mishnah refers to it as hararim. There's so many halachis which are dependent and linked and sourced in just a few psukim. Now, why is he pater in this case? Keman Rabbi Shimon. Is Rabbi Abba following Rabbi Shimon the Amar malacha she'ena tzricha legufa pater aleh? When one does a malacha on Shabbos, which is not needed for its own sake. There's no purpose to the malacha itself. He's just doing the malacha as a means to achieve another goal. He's doing the pit to get the earth. It's Pater. That's Reb Shimon's Shita. Reb Abba is in line with Reb Shimon. Is that what you have to say? Says more no. Afilu Tamer Rabbi Yehuda. This could be following even Rabbi Yehuda's Shita, who holds that a malacha she'ena tzrich l'gufa is considered a malacha. Now, what's the classic example of a malacha she'ena tzrich l'gufa? Rashi brings the Mishnah in Shabbos, Tzadik Gimel. He's carrying a mace out of the house. So he's doing a malacha, an absolute malacha. Moitzi mirushus l'rishus, carrying from one domain to the other. But does he need it? Is it tzricha l'gufa? Does he need the mace out in the street? No, he's trying to clear his house. It's just a means of clearing his house. It's a malacha she'ena tzricha, which is not needed l'gufa for its own sake. Reb Shimon says Pater. Rabbi Yehuda says Chayiv. What about digging the pit when he's in need of offer? He's Pater. Is that because we're following Reb Shimon? A malacha that's not needed in order to achieve its own specific goals. Rather, it's just as a means for something else. He's Pater? No. Even Rabbi Yehuda would agree in this case that he's Pater. Why? Because there's a distinction to be drawn between digging the pit for the offer and carrying out the mita. You know why? When he's carrying out a mace, he's doing something positive. He's doing a malacha v'aitzah. He's not ruining anything. He's doing a proper mass of transporting an item from one rishus to the other. He's achieving something. Here, when it comes to the digging of that pit, that aspect of his masa is just a destruction. He's ruining the house. Makalkal is certainly Pater, according to all shittas. Says the Gemara, okay, so you mean to say this is a halacha that was handed over by the Chachamim, but it is slightly sourced. It's hanging on a hair. We have some sort of indication in the psukim to this halacha. Where is that indication? Let's look for it. Mai keharorin hatluim b'sa'ara. Where's the ksas remez? Rashi says the ksas remez in the Torah to teach us this halacha. Malechas machshavas asra Torah. The pasuk in discussing the Malechas HaMishkan uses the term Malechas machshavas, and we learn from here that only a malacha which is meant to achieve its stated goal, which is needed for its own sake. There's pre-planning, there's machshava, there's kavana, there's purpose. That is considered a malacha, as opposed to making a pit, not for its own sake to achieve the stated goal of a pit being formed. No, I'm just using it as a means to achieve a different objective, to get the offer, to get the material. That's not malechas machshavas. Well, malechas machshavas like siva. Now, you'll say, well, it's an open pasuk. No, this lashon is not expressed in the sugya, in the parsha of Shabbos. It's discussed by the Mishkan. We connect Shabbos to the Mishkan because the parsha is by Vayakal. The pasuk states them next to each other, but it's not a clear lashon mentioned in Shabbos. It's only drawn from the Mishkan, and therefore it's called a remez ma'at. It's a hint, something to base the halacha on, but it was handed down and taught primarily via Torah Sheba'al Peh. CHAGGIGA is another example, a topic that has many details, which are slightly sourced in the Torah. Michtav Ksivan, what do you mean? There are lots of psukim. We have a pasuk, v'chagoysim oisel chagel Hashem. We had psukim the other day, back in Avtes. What do you mean it's just hinted in the pasuk? Well, apparently when the Mishnah says it's just hinted, we're addressing Rav Papa's kasha, who challenged this source, who questioned our source. So it's not so clear, it's not so simple. Let's see. Rav Papa asks Abaye as follows: how do you know the pasuk that says V'chagoysem oisei chag l'Hashem is referring to the obligation to bring a shalmei chagiga, zvicha, bring a korban? How do you know that chag is a korban? Chag is a time to celebrate, time to dance in circles. Dilma chaygu chaga kamarachmana. Chaga is a circle. Tesis brings a pasuk in Tehillim. Yechaygu v'yanu kashikar lashon mecheles. Circles, dancing and time to celebrate, to dance, to sing. Chaygu chaga kamer. Make these circles and dance and celebrate on Yom Tov. Who's to say that you have to bring a korban? Oh, so that's what the Mishnah meant. It's loim besara. It's slightly hinted in the pasuk, but it's not a clear pasuk. It was actually explained by the Chachamim in Torah Sheba'al Peh. Asks the Gemara, really? Lashon chag, chaygu can be referring to circles and dancing. Hashem sends a message to Paro, let my people go. They will be chayguli b'midbar. So we understand the pasuk is referring to karbanis. Are you going to tell me it means circles? Dancing? Achanami dechaygu chagahu? Let them out so they can dance and celebrate? Yeah, maybe that's what he meant. Look at the next pasuk. Pasuk says, a little bit later in the parasha there, he tells Paro, look, you're gonna contribute to our experience. You're gonna give us shlamim and oilos. Apparently, they're going to be engaged in bringing karbanis. So Chaggigi b'midbar, which was referring to this experience, this scene, entails karbanis. So you see, Chaggigi was karbanis. What do you mean? Dil machi kam rachmana. Maybe when the pasuk says Chaggigi b'midbar, pasuk meant ichlu v'shasu, eat and drink your own foods, v'chaygu chaga kamay, and dance in circles in front of me. And when the pasuk says that Moshe Rabbeinu told them about sending zvachim v'oiles, maybe it means zvachim, just animals. You're going to shecht animals. Oiles is oiles, but maybe zvachim means personal animals, not karbanis. That's what Hashem was referring to. V'yichaygli b'midbar. Go ahead and eat and drink and shecht your animals, not karban. Shecht your own animals for your own consumption and dance and celebrate. Says the Gemara, you can't say that's a pshat. You cannot say that on Yom Tov there is no chiyuv to bring a CHAGGIGA, korban CHAGGIGA. Pasuk says, don't allow the chelev portion of your chag to be left over till morning. You can't leave it overnight. You have to address it, bring it on the mizbeach before dawn arrives. Now, if Lashon Chagi is referring to celebrating and dancing and singing, since when does that have fat? Meaning, the chelev that has to be brought on the mizbeach up until morning is one related to karbanis, not personal animals that you're shechting to celebrate. So why would you have to be concerned about leaving it ad boker? Okay, v'dilma, apparently we're speaking about a carbon. No, v'dilma chikam rachmana, maybe the pasuk means like this. When you celebrate, when you dance and you sing, without a korban CHAGGIGA, well, maybe you'll bring your own nadarim, nadavos, your own donations, your commitments, not obligatory karbanis. And therefore the Torah is telling you like this. Chelev habab is man chag. The chelev portion of karbanis that you may decide to bring when you are celebrating, lo yolan, should not be left overnight. But the Torah is not telling you to bring a korban CHAGGIGA. If you happen to bring, oilos at that opportunity, so make sure to take care of it in a timely manner. Well, that doesn't work, because it sounds like the Torah is applying this restriction, this time limitation, only because it's a carbon brought on Yom Tov, an oil brought during the time of celebration. Elamata, if that's the case, you're going to tell me habab is manachag, only the oil which is brought at the time of celebration, hudla yolan, its fat cannot be left overnight. But an ordinary carbon oil, its fat can be left overnight. That's not true. The pasuk says you have to address the karbanis in a timely manner. It can burn and burn the entire night until morning. Make sure that it's done by that time. At least it should be on the mizbeach before morning. Don't leave it off the mizbeach past morning. Because if it's on the karbanis, there's no lina. But the point is, a pasuk, a universal pasuk, applying throughout the entire year, which applies this halach. So you can't say that when the Torah says, the Torah is telling you, well, the chelev of an oil brought in time of celebration should not be left overnight, which sounds like otherwise you have no problem leaving it overnight. And that's not true. We have a mitzvah say, burn it by morning. Says the Gemara. True, we have a pasuk called Laila the Boikiksiv, yeah. But Dilma, Ima hu avamina, if only from that pasuk. We need another pasuk, because if only from that pasuk, that's not enough to teach us the halach. Ahu la say. That pasuk is just telling you, do what's right. It's a say. That's why we need another pasuk. Kasav Rachmana, Hai Lalav. There adds another pasuk, V'lo yolan chelev chagi, to add a lav to it. Not only are you going to be ignoring a mitzvah say, you're going to be over an issur. So perhaps every oila has this limitation. The chaylev must be addressed by morning. We have an asay, we have a leis asay. But there is no pasuk for chiv chagiga, that you have to bring a new carbon chagiga on Yom Tov. Says the but it's not necessary for the lav. That also wouldn't work. The lav, the pasuk v'lo yolan is just trying to add a lav for this general concept, not to leave fat overnight. Kasav krach, we have another pasuk for that. V'lo yolan min abasar shatizbach ba'erev b'yem harishon labayik. Torah tells you you can't leave things overnight. Any carbon element has to be addressed in a timely manner. And here's a lav already. Maybe the pasuk is trying to add another lav. All for the same halacha. Address the carbon parts in a timely manner. Do it right and don't ignore it. One lav and another lav for the same thing. So ultimately, we don't have a makar that there's a chiyuv to bring chagiga on Yom Tov. Ella asya midbar. We're going to use Gzeir Shava with the words midbar to prove that there is a din chagiga on Yom Tov. Ksiv hacha v'yachaygu ba midbar. Hashem tells Paroi, let my people go so that they can be chaygu ba midbar. Perhaps it means celebrate, sing and dance, make circles. No. Uksiv hasim. We have another pasuk. Hazvachim u'mincha yigashu ba midbar. It's a pasuk in Amos, in Nach. Did you bring me karbanis in the midbar? So the word midbar is expressed near zvachim and mincha, and therefore we make that connection. Ma'ala and zvachim, just as the word midbar there relates to karbanis, afkan zvachim here as well. Midbar. How do you celebrate? Through karbanis. Oh, so we see the lashon v'yachaygu, chag, chagi, all these are related to karbanis. And when the pasuk says v'chagoysim oisei chag l'Hashem, bring a carbon chagiga on Yom Tov. Okay, so then it's a clear pasuk. Gzeir Shava, you don't get clearer than that. Umay karor natluim b'saros. Why is the Mishnah presented as something which just hang on a hair? It's pretty clear in the pasuk that there is a chiv chagiga on Yom Tov. The answer is because, after all, we are learning from a pasuk in Nach, and typically divrei Torah, medivrei Kabbalah lo yalfinan. We generally don't learn halachos of Torah from halachos, from psukim and wording that we find in Nach. Rashi elsewhere says, Torah is referring to the Chamisha Chamisha Torah, which are the source of the halachos that we're meant to do. Torah melashon hayra'ah, instructing us how to do the mitzvahs. And Nach is called Kabbalah because they were visions and messages that were received by Nevi'im for the Hayra'ah Shah, for whatever was needed at that point, more of a temporary, time-related instructions. That's called Kabbalah. So Divrei Torah from Kabbalah we don't generally learn, and here we're learning a halacha in the Torah from Kabbalah, so it's not really considered a proper, bona fide makar, and that's what the Mishnah refers to as hararim matluyim b'sara. What's next on the list? Milas. Milas have many halachis. It's hararim, but it's just slightly sourced in the pasuk. It's tluyim b'sara. It's not clear from the psukim. Rather, we need to come on to the explanations and the chidushim handed down by the Torah Sheba'al Peh. What do you mean? Michtav Sivan. We have many psukim discussing Me'ilah. What do you mean it's not properly grounded? Amar Rami Bar Chama L'Nisruch. Apparently, the Mishnah is speaking about a very specific halach. Certain halachis which are not readily understood, not readily apparent, and it's only due to the Kabbalah, the tradition, the Torah Sheba'al Peh that we know them. Elul Kedisnan. Hashliach Shasa Shlichusay. Reuben is a balabayis. He sends his butler, he sends his shliach to the marketplace with some money. Go buy me a robe. Unbeknownst to them, this money was money that belonged to Hegdish. And the shliach carried out his mission as per instruction. A robe? Sure, he bought him a robe. Who's held liable? Who's responsible for Me'ilah, for diverting the Mois Hegdish? Balabai Ismail, the owner, the one who sent him out. So typically we don't hold the Mishaleach responsible for a chet done by a shliach. Right? Ein shliach l'dvar avera. Who asked you to do avera? I told you, but Hashem told you otherwise. You should have listened to Him. So usually the sender is not liable, but Meila is different. If I send you to purchase something with Mois Hegdish, I am responsible. I have to bring the korban, the chaimish, etc. But that's only if you fulfilled your you followed instructions. But let's say the shliach did his own thing, so he wasn't really doing my job. Shliach mol, he's held responsible. That's the Mishnah, right? We have a kasha. Why is this different than the entire elsewhere in the Torah, where we never attribute the wrongdoing to the sender? You're an adult. You're a responsible adult. You're responsible for your own actions. Don't blame it on the sender. If the shliach fulfilled his shlichus, he followed instructions. He carried out his mission as per instructions. Why did the balabayis get Mila? Where else do you find that Reuven can do an aver and Shimon gets the chet? So it's not readily understood. It's a chiddush presented by the Chachamim. Hainu karorin hatloim besara, and therefore we compare it to the mountains hanging from the hairs. Amar Rava, Humay Kushi, what's the problem? We have a Gzera Shava that teaches us this. Dilma Shani Mila, perhaps Mila is different than the rest of Torah. The Alpha chet mitruma. We employ Gzera Shava using the word chet from truma. Mahasam, just like by truma, we say shluchish laden kemaisai. If you send somebody to do your truma, it's as though you're doing it. Pasuk says, "Kain terimu gam atem." Rashi says, "L'rabbi shluchacham." We learned the concept of shlichus from truma. You can have somebody do your truma for you. Afkan, here's what b'mila shluchish laden kemaisai. When he sends Shimon to buy this thing with Mois Hegdish, he's done it for you on your behalf. It's your doing. A special exception here, which sets it aside, sets it apart from the rest of the Torah. It's properly sourced. Elama Rava, apparently the Mishnah is speaking about another halacha. Apparently the concern here is regarding the next halacha. Look at this Sanya. Niskar balabais. Niskar shliach. So the balabais sent a shliach on his way. Buy me something with Mois Hegdish. Midway, the balabais, he says, how did I do that? Wasn't that Mammon from Hegdish? The shliach didn't know any better. Lo niskar shliach. He's still on the way to the marketplace. So at that point, basically the balabais cancels the shlichus, cancels the mission in his heart, but it's cancelled. He's no longer working for me. He's no longer doing it on my behalf. Who is held responsible? The shliach mal. That's what Rashi explains, because he's no longer considered my shliach. I don't need it. Don't do me any favors. I don't want you to do it for me. Now the Tzitz HaChoshen asks Akasha, what do you mean? I asked you to. I appointed you my shliach. Just because I changed my mind? How could it undo something which I verbalized? We know that there's a klal called Dvarim Shebalev Einam Dvarim. Words in one's heart don't carry much legal weight. Tzedek says a chiddush. That's only when it's arbitrary, when it's not clear. It's something you're deciding. But if it's something which is apparent to all, everybody knows that you don't want to send somebody to purchase things with moment of hegdish. It's nikar lakoil. Here we say even Dvarim Shebalev, emotions, sensations carry weight, and once the Baal Bayis realizes his mistake, the shlichus is up. So the shliach is ma'al. That's halach. Now, isn't this a bit peculiar sounding? Shliach anya ma'ika ovid, the poor shliach. What did he do wrong? He's not at fault. He was sent on a mission. So it's not readily understood. It's not something which we would necessarily introduce on our own. It's something which was brought down by Masorah, Torah Sheba'al Peh, Hainu Karorin, Hatloim B'Sara. That's why the Mishnah applies this term. Amar Rav Ashi, I don't understand what the problem is. He's not at fault? Okay. Every Mi'ila is B'Shoigig, and you still bring the korban. My Kushi, what's the problem? Dilma Midi, Dahava, Hamoitzi, Mois, Hegdish Lachun. It's just like any person who takes Hegdish money and uses it for personal needs. Unbeknownst to him, it was moment of Hegdish. He's now held responsible, taken to task. Chaimish, korban. What do you mean? I'm not at fault. Mistakes and acts. It's a shoygig. That's how Meila works. Why would the shliach be any different? There's nothing surprising about this halacha. It fits the mold. Elam Rav Ashi, apparently the Mishnah is speaking about another case, which isn't readily understood. Look at this one. Notal Evanei Kurish Hegdish. This fellow takes a stone, a beam out of Hegdish proper. At this point, he has not yet committed Me'ilah. Interesting. Why not? We'll see in a minute. But if he hands it over to his friend, by doing so, he sort of extracts it from Hegdish proper, he gives it to somebody else, changes hands. Humal, so the giver is Mo'el, because he took it out of Hegdish proper. But the receiver didn't do Me'ilah, because by the time he got it, it lost its Hegdish status. It was taken out of Hegdish proper. So that's the Mishnah. Let's analyze the Mishnah closely. What was the first case? He took a Evan, he took a Kiram, no Me'ilah. If he gives it away, then there's Me'ilah. What's the difference? Michti, let's analyze. Mishkal Shakl. In the first case, he took the beam. Malihu Mali Chaber. What's the difference if he keeps it? In which case you say there's no Me'ilah, and he gives it to his friend, there is Me'ilah. He diverted Hegdish property. Hainu Kahararan Hatluim Besara. On this very case, the Mishnah says, well, these are mountains hanging on here. But my Kushi, what's the problem? I'll explain it to you. As Shmuel said, Dama Shmuel was speaking about a unique case. This is not an ordinary person. Hachabegizbor. Hamasuras le Avne Binyan Askina was speaking about a caretaker, Hegdish's manager, who has possession at all time on Hegdish's building materials. Masuras le Avne Binyan Askina was speaking about this fellow has in his possession all the building materials at all times. So wherever the item is sitting, if it's in his possession, it hasn't been taken out of Hegdish. Because even before he decided to use it, it was sitting in his house. It was sitting under his care. So what did he do? He didn't divert anything. He picked up and says, I'm using it for myself. It's not called a Shina Rishus. It's no different than what happened up until a minute ago. It was in his possession until now as well. There's no change of hands. So there's no Me'ilah. Thinking about using it for yourself, that doesn't make Me'ilah. That has to be a change of hands, a change of Rishus. And here it wasn't. He was, is, and will be the manager of Hegdish. It stayed in the same Rishus, same hands all along. There's no Me'ilah. Oh, but in the next case, when he gave it to his next door neighbor, then it changed hands, and then there's Me'ilah. That's perfectly understood. It's not harorim hatluim b'sa'ara. Elam sefer. The problem is with this next part of the halacha. Mishnah says, "Bana b'seich beis." He takes the beam and builds it into his home. Harei zelei mal. There's no Me'ilah yet. Achiyadu tachtea b'shava pruta. Unless he actually benefits directly from that beam, he sits underneath it and protects himself from the sun and the rain. He enjoys it. He enjoys it a pruta worth of enjoyment. Why do you need that? Michti, let's analyze this. Shinuye shani. Once he builds it into his home, he certainly changed its status. It became from a brick to a piece of his wall. Mali dar, mali laida. What's the difference whether he's actually using it, actually living in it or not? Hainu kararin hatluim besar. That's why we apply this phrase. It's not really understood. My kushi, what do you mean? What's the problem? Dilmul Rav. Perhaps as Rav explained, Damarav kigoin she'nicha api aruba. This fellow had a skylight, and he put the beam on the skylight to block the sun. He didn't really change its form. He didn't redesign it. He didn't implant it permanently into his home. It's just a temporary cover. So that in itself would not constitute Me'ilah. Right? That was speaking about I assume we're speaking about the Gizber, right? So the fact that it's still in his home, like we said before, that's not considered Shina Rishus. It's only Me'ilah when he actually enjoys it, when he changes it, when he transforms it, when he puts it into his house and it becomes part of it, it gets incorporated into the structure. But here he put it on the aruba. It's loosely fitting on the top of the skylight. So the actual placement is not constitute a change. Oh, idarbe. Oh, if he actually lived underneath it, he sat underneath it and he enjoyed it, he did Me'ilah. Ilar darbe loy. But otherwise, if he didn't actually live underneath it, he didn't enjoy it, he didn't divert it, then there's no Me'ilah. So it's very pashut, nothing surprising. Says the Gemara, Elo elam kederav. So when the Mishnah used the term harorim matluim b'sar, denoting there's something unusual about these halachas? Let's go back to Rava's case, the Baal Bayis with the shliach. So Reuven the Baal Bayis gave the shliach $100, go buy a rope. Unbeknownst to both of them, this was Mois Hekdesh. Midway, Reuven remembers it's Hekdesh. In his heart, he cancels the shlichus. Who is held responsible? The shliach. What do you mean? Where's the fairness? Poor shliach. Why is he held accountable? So the answer was, nothing surprising. Look at kasha. He had a kasha. What's the problem? Like any meila. Who's at fault? It's a mistake. Any fellow who spends hegdish money. No balabais, no shlich, typical meila. He takes money in his house. Happens to be hegdish money. He didn't realize he used it for chulin. He gets meila. What do you mean he's at fault? Is it done b'mezid? No. But he's still held accountable. That's the way meila works. Why is the shliach any different? Why is the halach of shliach more surprising? Yes, there is a big difference. You know why? Hasa made the yada. Typically, a person knows the ika zuzi the hegdish. He knows his hegdish money sitting somewhere in his home. He should have paid attention. He should have focused on what he was doing. Be mindful of what money you're taking. So, although it wasn't amazing, it wasn't deliberate, but there's some element of negligence there. So he's chayv milah. We can understand that. Makes sense. But in the case of a shliach, what does he know about money of his balabayis? He has no idea which funds he's giving him. Hacha, in this case of the shliach, miyada. How's he meant to know? And the fact that we hold him accountable is a chiddush. And therefore the Mishnah applies the term hainu ka'harorin hatluim b'sara. Okay, so bottom line is, we had a Mishnah which gave us several categories of topics in Torah. Some are perchim ba'avar, like heter nedorim. Some are more grounded, like Hilchos Shabbos, CHAGGIGA, and Me'ilos. And some are very much detailed in the Torah, like dinin, avodas, taras, and tmeis. The Gemara disagreed with the Mishnah. We actually found Mekaris in the Chumash for heter nedorim. We were left with the last one, Shmuel's Layachal Devarai, Acherim Moichlan Lay. Apparently, our Mishnah didn't hold of that as a proper makar. It's only a remez muad. First, say because it's not a clear pasuk, it's just a diak in the pasuk, and that's why the Mishnah chose to describe these halachas as parchem ba'aver ve'ein amashi yismech. We have Hilchos Shabbos, CHAGGIGA, and Me'ilah. Why are they considered harora matluim b'sara? Because there are many halachas which are not articulated in the psukim. For instance, the union of makalkal on Shabbos being pater, that chagoisim oisech chag Hashem means a korban, and that a shliach who was abandoned by his mishaleach is responsible, is liable for the me'ilah that resulted from his actions. Hatzlacha Rabbi to you, and all the best.